Good evening, everybody. 大家晚安. My name is Heng Sure. Today is Monday, October 20th, here in the Gold Coast of Queensland. If you're listening in California, it's the 19th. We are winding up Libra, heading towards Scorpio, and we're about to launch into our weekly investigation of the Avatamsaka Sutra's 10 Dedications chapter. 欢迎各位来参加我们大放广佛华严经十回向品佛学讲座。今天是10月20号，在澳大利亚我这。如果你们在王府城在听呢，在北加州，那就是19号。在中国、在台湾、新加坡、马来西亚、香港，我们都是在越南，我们已经是到了20号。我们准备讲解华严经十回向品。So today, Yihuan is going to give us a Dharma request along with her student, Art. So the two of them are going to be our Dharma requesters. I'm going to ring the bell 3 times, make 3 half bows, and then ask Yihuan and Art to do the Dharma request. 那我调眼镜朝3下，各位可以跟着我一起向3个问心礼，然后呢，在万佛城施一欢还有他的学生 Art 要一起请法。Okay, we ready? 一问讯，再问讯。3问讯。Okay, Yihuan and Art, if you want to request Dharma, please go ahead and do it now.
恭请大德僧亲，为此法会及一切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死离苦得乐，速证无上。
Will the Sangha, with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and attain bliss, and end birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye olahadi samya samputoshe.
Namo sadanto sochedoye alahadi samyao sanputoje.
无上甚深微妙法，100,000万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿皆如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. All right, Yihuan and Art, thank you so much. Happy to comply, happy to turn the wheel so that we can dive into the wisdom of the Avatamsaka Sutra. What a deal. Okay, now in our opening liturgy, we also invite the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the Flower Garland Assembly to draw near, and we do it with a melody in 2 languages. Here we go. 1 second here. Forgot that I had retuned my banjo to a different tuning. Here we go. Namo Tao Phang One more time. Alrighty. Furthermore, we would like to respectfully acknowledge the Pomo people who practice spiritual connections to the earth and to all creation here in their ancestral land, this Mendocino County, for tens of thousands of years. And today we acknowledge them as traditional custodians and original storytellers of these lands. We offer our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nation people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 就说我们恭敬地承认 Pomo 人是我们寺院所在地的传统叙事者和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向所有从来没放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。Okay. Bell sound wide resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众上传3000界内佛法仰望一国中，共寻其法界和平，利益报他诺后德。Right. Good. Thank you so much, everyone, for sitting with me through the Dharma request. And I need to step away for 1 second here so we get a moment's peace. Today we have we have already 100 Dharma friends here listening, and we'll take a look and see where they're all from. It's exciting to appreciate that there's people all over planet Earth interested in listening to the Avatamsaka Sutra. 现在已经有超过100多人了，在观众在那听就说这个全地球都有佛友愿意听听华严经。So let's see here. Of course, Yuan and Art are here. Our co-host is Heng Sure in Ukiah, city of 10,000 Buddhas. And we have friends from Eastern Washington, from San Jose, California, from Talmadge, from Shanghai, from Redwood Valley and Hong Kong and LA, Alameda and Taipei and Heilongjiang, Montreal, Dublin, Ohio, and the Midwest near the Great Lakes, Beijing, Oregon, and Berkeley, California, Union City, Melbourne, Australia, welcome, Seattle, Washington, Union City, San Francisco, Chinatown, New York. Let's see here. Marion is with us from San Francisco, Bothell, Washington. Samantha is here. Let's see here. Let's see. Also, Ukiah and Talmadge and Oklahoma. There we go. And Oakland and Virginia and Seattle and Calgary. Then we switch over to this side of the planet, and we've got friends from Taipei, Henan, Kaifeng, Malaysia, Shanghai, Harbin, Liaoning, 朝阳市, Shandong, Heilongjiang, Liaoning, 大连, 湖南, 西安, 黑龙江, 安徽, 浙江蓝海, 新北市, 那台北, 陕西宝鸡, 福建泉州, 湖南, 温哥华, 吉林, 安徽, 河北, 深圳, 北京, 湖北, 黄冈, 河北, 唐山, 广州, 云南, 昆明, 浙江, 江苏, 海南, let's see here, 还有哪里? 哈尔滨, 加拿大, 吉隆坡, 哈尔滨, 深圳, 黑龙江, 洛阳开封都有, 江苏, 河南, and Liaoning. Good. So glad that you're all here. Thank you all for sustaining your interest in this sutra. 高兴有那么多佛友很想研究华严经，所以呢，我们一定要深入经藏，希望各位慢慢的有智慧如海。We're gonna dive deep into the ocean of sutras, the treasury of sutras, so that we can all experience oceanic wisdom. Okay, where are we? We're in the ninth out of 10 transferences, and the vows here are profound. These are deep vows, multi-layered vows that the Bodhisattva is making, and you all can measure your own experience in making transference wishes. Say, how do my vows measure up to what the Bodhisattva is doing? You can ask yourself that. 我们都可以就跟第9回向的菩萨所发的这个回向愿这么深，这么丰富，好几个念头在一个愿里，那我们可以从华严经的叶子上来比较自己所发的回向愿，看看我呢，如果我是愿意跟着普贤菩萨，愿意跟着文殊师利菩萨走这个华严经的这个无量无边、无穷无尽的法界上的这个庄严世界去走，那我一定要学习如何发回向愿，可以比较起来。So suppose we say, we take this notion that the bodhisattvas of the Avatamsaka assembly are real, such as Samantabhadra, Manjushri, and the practices and vows that we hear about in the sutra are as much historical as they are spiritual. That these events really did happen and are happening now and will happen again in the future. Then we can figure, okay, well, what's my role? What's my part in it? Can I make vows that bring me closer to that quality of Bodhisattva's heart? So I can reflect that way. Let's take a look. What do we have here? 以无杂无覆解脱心，成就普贤身心方便，于一念心中现意众生，不可说不可说皆念心，如是乃至现一切众生而许皆念心。May all perfect Samantabhadra's profound resolve and skillful means, with a liberated mind, free of attachments and bonds, and, here we go, thereby, within a single thought, manifest a single living being's thoughts throughout ineffable many eons. Just as it is for a single living being, may it be the same for the thoughts of each and every living being throughout the same number of eons. Okay, how do we unpack this? I find it's easier to work with the Chinese. So here's the boilerplate. 以无杂无覆解脱心, okay? And then Samantabhadra shows up. 成就普贤, what? 身心方便. May we, may I, may all living beings together with this unbound, unattached, liberated mind bring into being the expedient means of profound thoughts of Samantabhadra. So Samantabhadra's deepest thoughts and the expedients from there. What does that mean? Skillful means, ways to teach. Things that work when teaching living beings. That's what it means. And what do I mean by that? Here's what I mean by that. And now we jump into the swimming pool, jump into the deep end. In one nian xin, in the amid, so yu something something zhong, so in the middle of yi nian xin, a single one thought of the mind, xian, here's the verb, make appear, one yi zhong sheng, one living beings, inexpressible eons worth of thoughts of the mind. Got it? So remember last week we were talking about the 10 gates to mystery, or mysterious gates, or subtle gates. Gateways to the esoteric, where one can manifest many, and large can appear inside the smallest. Something large can appear inside small. So these 10 mysterious gates to the mysterious break the laws of physics as we know them with our limited dualistic sense-based knowledge. So here it is, same thing. In one thought, make appear one living being's thoughts that he or she has thought for inexpressible many's of eons, a lot of eons, a lot of thoughts. And Rusher Niger, and all the way to, in this way, up to and including, making all living beings' thoughts at that length of time appear. So, a single thought, your thought can be so expansive that it can contain that many thoughts. All right? 好，这是怎么说呢？上个礼拜吗？各位记得吗？我们都讲到这个十宣门，《华严经》的十宣门。十宣门里边有一线多，还有小线大，还有少线多这样子，就是物理学嘛，物理学科学就没办法解释如何可以把很大的一个东西放在小的一个东西，没办法，就是心里用华严经的道理 用菩萨道的行门修行就可以了，这个不算什么问题。所以菩萨发这个愿的时候，希望一切众生都可以有这种，就一个众生，就说你的哥哥、你的弟弟、你的姐姐、你的妹妹，他们在一念心，就是当下一个念头，可以把不可说劫那么长的时间所发的念头，可以包容在一个念头里面，也还有地方可以放它旁的，可以放其他的。然后呢，把这个呢又放大，就是说一切众生如此如是，那么多的心念都可以放在一个众生的心念里面。Got it? Okay. Yep. All clear how that works? If you say so, Dharma Master. So, within one thought, because of the liberated mind, free of attachments, bonds, and using Samantabhadra's skillful means, you can take a single thought of the mind, poof, one thought, and fit within that one thought the thoughts of one living being through a very long time. So that's a lot of thoughts. And you can fit them into a single thought because of your skillful means. And scale that up to Avatamsaka scale. Just as it is for one living being, it's going to be the same for every living being throughout that period of time. One can contain many, many, many. Okay? Great vow. That's a transference wish. Here we go. 以无照无负解脱心，入普贤回向行方便地，于一生中悉能包纳尽法界不可说不可说身，而众生界无所增减，如一身乃至周边法界一切身悉亦如是。May all realize the ground of skillful means on which Samantabhadra practices dedication with a liberated mind, free from attachments and bonds, and, here we go, ready? Thereby, within a single body, encompass ineffably ineffable many bodies throughout the Dharma realm, and those bodies do not add or subtract from the realms of living beings. Just as it is for one body, may it be the same for each and every body throughout the Dharma realm. So clearly, same flavor. We're doing things that the conscious mind were based in dualities, rights and wrongs, and up and down, and heavy and light, and black and white. So the ability to, within one body, hold an incredibly large number of living beings' bodies, and yet the number doesn't change. So that's kind of, nope, impossible. And yet, if we accomplish and realize the di, the fangbian di, the skill to within in the standing, the place, the just you could say ability to make that happen, put countless numbers of bodies into a single body, we can do it if we use a wujia wufu, unbound, unattached, liberated mind, and master Samantabhadra's dedication practices. Here it is, Ru, merge with, master Samantabhadra's dedication practice. Okay, so you can do it if you are free. And this is what the unbound, unattached, unbound, liberated mind is, the description of freedom by terms of the ninth transference bodhisattva. 就说第九回向的菩萨，他很自在，他的功夫真的是厉害的很。为什么呢？因为他用无着无缚解脱心 还有他就入，就说成就普贤菩萨的回向行那种方便地。如果他这样做的话，他就怎么样呢？在一个身体里边包容包纳尽法界不可说不可说身体，多能现在少里边，还有不但那个，而且众生界无所增减。哦，你们会数学的人呢，就说：“哎呀，头大了。”就像一个身体乃至九变法界一切身体也是这样子。OK， 那这个方便地啊，多么妙，多么微妙。So how marvelous is the ground of skillful means? Now, why would a bodhisattva want to do this? Why would he transfer merit hoping others can do it? The answer is, this is all practice to take beings across, to help us in suffering. And that's the point of all of this, is if we see this happening and even catch a glimpse of it, we too can change our life priorities to where we think maybe I'm going to spend a little more time cultivating the way. I think that's really important. And I too would rather do that and realize this ground of skillful means, rather do that than almost anything I can think of. Okay, so this has got the purpose of teaching and taking us across. Okay, 那为什么菩萨要这样做吗？就因为帮忙这个方便地呢，都是为的度我们，就说让我们看到菩萨能这样做，或者就看到一角丝毫的这个不可思议的功夫呢，我们看到了，我们都说，哎，我也愿意这样做，所以呢，就会发心，就会用功修行，不用时间办其他的事，所以那就会这样做。你们会不会感动吗？你们会不会发心啊？我会不会感动？我会不会发心？我认识不认识？到时候也是个问题。So this is interesting. You know, would I, if I saw a bodhisattva do this kind of thing, would I be inspired to follow suit or to want to do it myself? It's a question. It's an important question. Would I even recognize it when it was done? That's a question too. All right. Humbling, isn't it? Yeah, if you're really honest. Look at this vow. This is one dedication vow. Oh my goodness. 你们各位瞧瞧，这是一个回向愿。阿弥陀佛。Okay, here we go. 以无着无负解脱心，成就普贤大愿方便。舍离一切想导、心导、见导，普入一切诸佛境界，常见诸佛虚空界等清净法身，相好庄严，神力自在，常以妙音开示演说，无碍无断，令其闻者如说受持，于如来身了无所得。My goodness, what an incredible vow. May all accomplish Samantabhadra's great vows and skillful means with a liberated mind, free from attachments and bonds, and thereby leave behind all delusions of thought, mind, and view. May they universally realize the states of all Buddhas, constantly behold the Buddha's pure Dharma body, which resembles the realm of empty space, is adorned with magnificent hallmarks, and possesses spiritual powers of self-mastery. May they, without hindrance or interruption, always instruct and expound in a wonderful voice, enabling those who hear their teaching to accept and uphold it, and thereby understand that the Tathagata's body is unattainable. All right. Now, as I look into it, it is one vow, but it's got three parts. So the key here is the Wujia Wufu Jietuo Xin, the unbound, unattached, liberated mind. So when we see that, starting with an E, take the unbound, unattached, liberated mind, and then go ahead and Samantabhadra is in there too. When we see that, that's the next vow in sequence. So here it is, although it does divide up into three separate pieces. So let's take a look at it. May all accomplish Samantabhadra's great vows and skillful means. Okay, so those are the two themes of this number 9, this 9th transference. Samantabhadra's vows, that's the 10, and the skillful means, many, many. And thereby, by doing that, leave behind delusions. Okay. Surely, let go of. Leave behind is a good translation, but here it means to drop, to get rid of, to renounce, to set aside. Three kinds of Dao. Dao means inversion, upside down. What kind? Xiang Dao, thinking inversions. Xin Dao, mental inversions. Jian Dao, viewpoint inversions. Okay? So that's a key word, Dao. It's Dao, fourth tone, means to go somewhere, to arrive. Add the human radical to it in the left. This is the word right here. This is Dao. So you add the human, the ren zi pang, over there on the left, and it becomes upside down, inverted. Just the exact opposite of what it should be. And so here's an example. Xiang Dao. A good example. It's really tempting to talk politics here, and I won't do that because that's not fair. The sutra lectures have to be politically impartial, politically unspecific, non-specific. So politically neutral. So let's get to a bigger kind of politics, which is the politics of living beings. So what would be an inversion? An inversion would be such as not believing in cause and effect, thinking that if I take for my food the body of another creature that was living, that had a life, that was breathing, that had family, that had a lifespan, and even if I don't kill it, but I still consume its body, that somehow that is going to provide me with proper food and energy and nutrition. In fact, some people will say that humans are omnivores because we have sharp teeth in front, but grinding teeth in back. So therefore we can eat meat and also grind seeds and grains. If you look at the teeth of genuine carnivores, let's say large cats, tigers, lions, mountain lions, bobcats, they have very sharp incisors in the front for puncturing skin and opening the neck of a zebra or a deer, and thereby tearing the flesh and getting nutrition. If I tried to eat a cow with my teeth, I would fail. I don't have those skin puncturing incisor teeth to do that job. So people who say, oh, humans are meant to eat meat, I beg to differ. I do know that I have very flat grinding molars, which are perfect for grinding up grains and taking bites of fruit and making it smaller and vegetables, so I can swallow. So inversion, Dao here, is confusing the burst of flavor that you get from blood and flesh that's been passed over a fire and assume that that's good for your body. That's a Dao. That's an inversion. Humans do very, very well on food that doesn't run away from us when we try to eat it, like carrots, for example, or potatoes, or apples, things like that, grains, right? Rice doesn't try to run away. So the Dao part, the inversion, is viewing other creatures' bodies as appropriate food for me, a human. So, and as if we do that, if we go ahead and follow the Jian Dao, the viewpoint that's upside down, then in the future, when that conscious being that whose flesh we consumed, comes back and is very unhappy with us and says, okay, now my turn to eat you, then we catch the invisible price tag behind thinking that flesh of other creatures is a suitable food for humans. Okay, it's inverted. 这个岛呢，三种岛，向岛、心岛、见岛，这都是为什么岛就是倒过来，就是相反啊。那个岛字，那个人字边单立人在旁边就说错了，就是刚好相反。那么就像一个例子，就我们有的人就说 humans 是 omnivore， 林峰一欢，麻烦你写 omnivore， 在我们的那个就说吃荤是那个意思。食肉动物 ，OK， 食肉动物好。我们omnivore 其实就说什么都可以吃 ，omni 就说所有的食物是人可以吃的。那么let's see here, what have we got? Somebody gave us there we go. 杂食动物，杂食 ，OK， 杂食 ，Yeah。大家想想看，那个老虎或者那个狮子或者这个山豹它们前边那个牙齿就很大，而且很利，它们可以跑到这个山鹿的身上，不用旁的东西就可以用自己的牙齿超过皮肤，就把喉咙扎掉了，就可以喝那个血，吃这个肉。我这个牙齿呢，没有办法，我不能，我如果要给我一批牛吃我不能，我必须要用刀子或者什么其他的有很尖很利的东西才能解开这个皮肤，吃到里边的肉。所以说肉人是应该吃荤的才对，那是颠倒。明明就确实我的牙齿呢平的，是那个牙齿是相当是很对击，就把一些籽、一些麦子、这个谷物水果之类，就可以摇一摇，就磨平了，大的变小，就吞下去消化，这样子。那个是对击的，那个是吃就吃的食物，所以就说那个是有形有相的一个导见。那么无形中呢，就说如果我把其他的众生的生肉吃了，你杀了他没有杀，你一样吃他的肉，你把他的身体放在自己的身体里边了，把它消化。无形中呢，那个众生一定不愿意把他的这个肉体给我当我的晚饭，不会， 我就不愿意把我这个身体、我的肩膀、我的腿子给其他人来当他们的中餐，不要了。所以呢，就说无形中呢，我吃众生的身肉，将来他一定要还报，我必须要来生就把我的身体全给他，不好啊。不过呢，因果循环，因果报应，不相信呢叫什么倒，向导，不信因果就是向导。Okay, you get the point. So, what is inversions of thoughts? Disbelieving in cause and effect, thinking that cause and effect is not going to matter to me. Okay, I have to take 1 second here. Be right back. My lecture hall is, I am the lecturer, the engineer, and the systems manager at the same time. So, 一个法师在这边管理所有的。Okay, here we go. Now, he wants to leave behind those 3 kinds of inversions of thought. Thoughts probably is intentions and inverted resolves, and also wrong viewpoints. Okay, so that when he gets away from those 3 kinds of inversions, everywhere he is able to 普入境界. So he can enter states, yeah, kind of we do that, you enter a state, merge with, incorporate with, in experience, integrate with Buddha's states. 他把这个想导、心导、见导舍离好了之后，那个时候他可以普入一切诸佛境界。诸佛境界，什么境界都有。那个时候，因为我见我相已经没有了。然后呢，那是一点。还有呢，常见诸佛。Okay, 那个时候。So once you do that, once you merge with all of the states of the Buddhas, which is no state and includes all states, you always see the Buddhas. 常见诸佛。So what's it like to see Buddhas? Can't speak from experience. Can't tell you that. But you could make a living simply using imagination to give describe from your own maybe you can experience it actually in meditation if you've got that kind of samadhi. But imagine trying to describe what it must be like to be in the presence of the Buddha. You could, if you could write it in short stories or poetry, you could really sell a lot of books. What would it be like? Can you imagine being in a state where you are so comfortable in the Buddha's presence, in the light of the Buddha, that you have absolutely no fear, no anxiety whatsoever, because the Buddha's uncovered nature is shining on you. That sense of being absolutely where you belong. There is nowhere else you'd rather be. You're not late, you're not early, you are exactly where you belong, and everything that you have done to that point has led you to that place correctly, and you feel really Good 各位，你们想想看，如果能常见诸佛，是怎么一回事？什么样的境界？如果你能把，当然，那如果你已经见过诸佛，那就另外一件事。我没有，所以我还是用想象力。不过呢，你们如果就说，想想看，如果你就把那个境界写下，成一首诗，成一本书，成一个小说，哇，你会发钱了，发大财，赚钱这样做。为什么呢？因为你要形容那个境界，太微妙。如果你在佛的旁边，因为佛的自信已经没有任何东西遮盖，他的佛性就像前日放那么大光明，照到你的身心性命，是怎么一回事呢？很舒服，很自在，非常非常自在，什么恐怖都没有，什么紧张都没有了。就说你不会像后悔过去，你不会就说期盼未来，你都得其所在，你都会觉得哎呀，我几岁呢？多少年纪了？每一个念头都是引导我到这个时候这个地方，就是对的。我现在这个地方当下一念心就是我的一辈子的目的地。这么好 right? So I can't do it justice, but think of how you would describe being in the presence of the Buddha, how wonderful that would be. Yes, indeed. And then probably that's still very pale compared to the reality of it. So. 虚空界灯，清净法身，相好庄严，神力自在。常以妙音开始演说，无碍无断。Okay, so this next piece is a kind of a rhapsody. He wants living beings to experience the pure Dharma body equal to the realm of empty space, and complete with the adornments, the 32 hallmarks and 80 characteristics, with spiritual power and independence, self-mastery, and you are always hearing this wonderful sound, wonderful voice speaking the Dharma, explaining the Dharma. No obstacles, never stops, and all those who hear are able to go and do what it says. So far, so good. Then look at the kicker at the end, so that you understand that the Buddha's body still is nothing to get. The Tathagata's body is unobtainable. So at the end, it pulls the rug on you. This is so interesting. This vow is like, whoa, what kind of a mind came up with this? He's having fun. It's just, what a great mind. This is a mind that sees the truth and wants living beings to measure up. Okay. 就说从这里开始就很微妙，就说虚空界等的清净法身，包括他的32相、80种随性好庄严，还有他的身力、他的自在都包括完整，包括在内。不但那个，而且呢，常以妙音开始演说，这是一种回向愿，希望众生会得到了。他的演说诸法无碍无断，令我们听到之后就会实行，就会去做。然后呢，你从 以无着无复解脱心讲到这里，觉得很微妙哦。我也愿意受到这个回向的功德。不过呢，最后8个字，以如来生了无所得，什么都没有了啊！不要执着了。你看 ，what a wonderful vow! You get to the end after all these wonderful descriptions and how incredible it must be. You say, and thereby, with all of that, understand that it's nothing that you get. The last 8 characters in Chinese really puts it back into the mind. It gives it to you without. This is why it's the proper Dharma, because there's nothing to get. If you thought there was something to get, that's a self and this me and mine. You're in the wrong direction. This is real Dharma. 这是正法。正法怎么说？怎么呢？就说，如果我们听到这么微妙一个境界，然后就说，嘿，对，我愿意得到那个境界呢，就有一个我所得，已经不是般若大法啊。所以这个是我们知道了。讲完了就说以了无所得，不是说了无所证，就说我见空了，所以我所有也空了，我所有都空，多么微妙。Okay, got it? Very cool. Incredible. Okay, we got another. This is a multi-page vow. Let's take a look. 这是很长的哈。来，以无着无复解脱心，修普贤行，住菩萨地，于一念中入一切世界。所谓入阳世界、复世界，不可说不可说十方王，一切处广大世界，以因陀罗网分别方便，普分别一切法界，以种种世界入一世界，以不可说不可说无量世界入一世界，以一切法界所安立无量世界入一世界，以一切虚空界所安立无量世界入一世界，而以不坏安立之相，悉令明见。Incredible. Okay, are you ready? Fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. May all cultivate Samantabhadra's practices and vows on the Bodhisattva's grounds, with a liberated mind, free of attachments and bonds, entering all worlds in a single thought. That is to say, the Chinese goes, so wait, by this I mean upward-facing worlds, downward-facing worlds, ineffably ineffable, many vast worlds inlaid in Indra's net,以因陀罗网分别方便. Many vast worlds, okay, sorry, I jumped ahead. Ineffably ineffable, many vast worlds inlaid in nets throughout the 10 directions. As these worlds are distinctively arrayed in Indra's nets, so too are all Dharma realms. May all enter one world through different worlds. Enter one world through ineffably ineffable countless worlds. Enter one world through countless worlds that are harmoniously established throughout all Dharma realms. And enter one world through countless worlds that are harmoniously established throughout empty space. May all do this without detriment to this harmonious establishment, bringing all worlds into sight. Okay, interesting translation of that end. Okay, so this is a really profound vow, and it has to do with moving worlds around. May all cultivate Samantabhadra's practices and stay on the Bodhisattva's grounds with a liberated mind, free from attachments and bonds. And here is our theme, 入一切世界. So merge with, to enter a world. I don't think you enter a world. You embody a world. You integrate with the world. You, maybe enter. But you, we can't think of leaving our world to go anywhere else. Maybe if you go to Mars, is that still a world? Is a solar system a world? This is beyond my pay grade. So, but now we get 10 descriptions of how this bodhisattva builds this wish. So, entering worlds in a single thought, you enter worlds that face up, worlds that face down, huge number of worlds inlaid in nets in all directions. And further, the worlds appear in Indra's nets with the inter-reflecting going on. And so too are all Dharma realms, meaning not just one world, but worlds, all the worlds in a Dharma realm and then all the Dharma realms. Furthermore, here is another theme for worlds entering worlds. May all, let's see, the Chinese is 以种种世界入一世界. So with many, many kinds of worlds, you merge with one world. Okay. May all enter one world through different worlds. Okay. May you enter one world through a large number of worlds. May you enter one world through countless worlds that are all set up throughout the Dharma realm. Very elegantly, so the system is working and very precise and very ornate or systematic. And you enter a world through countless worlds, harmoniously established. And as you do this, you do not harm the establishment of all those worlds, and then you get to see them all clearly. Okay. In Chinese, you say, wow, 好厉害. This is amazing. This is really something. So the mind that dedicates merit with this goal is a very clear, thoughtful, organized, and precise mind. Okay? It's each of these vows, if they were music, they would be etudes or nocturnes, but distinct pieces of music with themes that develop, that turn, and that return. And then there's a surprise at the end. The surprise in this one is, after it's all set up, you can see them all clearly. It's 虚灵明见, and I want living beings to see all of these worlds entering each other in this ornate, wonderful way. 就说发这个回向律愿的菩萨，你看他是什么品性？他的心里非常清晰，非常清净，非常有头有尾啊，很怎么说有次序啊。然后我就是如果就是作曲的一个音乐家，那这就是一个 etude， 一种学曲，或是 nocturne， 一个晚上的曲子，有开有转有回有伏，然后呢到最后 有一个 surprise， 想不到的地方，很奇妙很好听。OK， 那菩萨说，我愿意回向功德，希望众生受到我的回向这个善根，因为我用无着无缚解脱心修普贤菩萨的行门的关系了，他们都会住在菩萨地。然后呢，因为住在菩萨地，他们在一念中能入一切世界。接下来他就解释什么叫我是什么意思呢？所谓入阳世界、复世界，不可说不可说，十方往一切处广大世界，那就是我的意思。那么不同，那么多不同的世界。然后呢，他们也会拿因陀罗网分别方便来普分别一切法界。因陀罗网分别方便，那种方便 I believe the translator left out the expedient. As these worlds are distinctly arrayed using Indra, the expedience of Indra's distinct nets. We left out a word there. 没有那个方便他们都会普分别一切法界，那就是一方面。另一方面呢，以众生世界入一切世界。真的你能想到这么一回事吗？然后呢，他能以不可说不可说无量世界多就入少然后呢，还有以一切法界所安立无量世界就可以入一世界这是一样的奇妙玄妙。以一切虚空界所安立无量世界都能入一个世界。OK， 那就是到最后那种想不到的而且呢，它这个条件不坏安立之相，不坏安立之相，它那个有头有尾，有次序有前有后，那种的品性都可以现出来。到最后呢，众生都可以看到心灵明见，都会看到这个不可思议的境界发现。Okay, wow, whew, this is, if you think about the bodhisattva who is making these vows, what's his state of mind? What kind of a character is this person? And the sutra wants us to expand the measure of our minds, to think about how this could be, how this could manifest, and go beyond it. Don't be limited by the bodhisattva here, because the mind is unbound, unattached, and liberated. Okay, now at this point, we've come to a turning point in the progress of these vows, and now we're seeing some absolutely if it was music, this is jazz. We're seeing improvisation. The Bodhisattva's transference vows are going straight up into space, demonstrating unbound, unattached liberation. 现在呢，从这里开始，这是一个转点。菩萨第九回向力菩萨就说：示范无着无缚解脱心。如果是音乐呢，那就是 jazz 音乐。This is improvisation on a theme. 而且呢， 菩萨的回向愿呢，真的到虚空里边去了，不可思议。Okay, so we have to go slowly to keep the theme, to keep track of what's going on. This is a dedication vow. It's a transference vow, but man, is it profound and multi-layered. Okay, so let's go bit by bit. Here we go. 以无着无负解脱心，修习普贤菩萨恒愿，得佛观顶，于一念中入方便地，充满安住，众恒至宝，悉能了知一切诸相。所谓 Okay, go right there. May all cultivate Samantabhadra's practices and vows with a liberated mind, free from attachments and bonds. Having been anointed by the Buddhas, they realize the ground of skillful means in a single thought, successfully perfecting the treasury of wisdom that firmly anchors them in myriad practices. And one more line, so that they are capable of knowing each and every thought. Okay, that's the kickoff. Let's look at the Chinese. Here we go. With a unbound, unattached, liberated mind, that's the first signature boilerplate piece. Cultivate Samantabhadra Bodhisattva's practices and vows. That's the second half of these signature of these vows. All right, now we get an important one. De Fo Guanding. They gain the Buddha's consecration on the crown of the head. Guan, to drip, to anoint. Ding, crown of the head. So they get the Buddha's anointment of the crown. That in itself is enough material for a lecture. We encountered this in the 10 Grounds chapter at the end. Was it? I guess it was the 10th stage, 10 stages chapter. We went into a lot about the Guanding, because Buddhism is not the only one that does this. This is a folk practice of great spiritual sanctity and importance. It indicates a change of status. You're promoted to a new level when this happens to you. Okay, so gaining this, next, in one thought, they can merge onto, like merging in a freeway, the ground of expedience, the stage of expedience. Notice how short these are? They get anointment of the crown. In a thought, enter the stage of expedience. Accomplish peaceful abiding, secure abiding, secure staying on the Zhong Heng Zhi Bao, the jewel, the treasure of wisdom, multiple practices, the host of practices of the wisdom or the knowledge jewel. Okay, this is really, say, pregnant language. It is packed with stuff so that they can entirely understand every thought. What's it like to know every thought? In their own minds, yes, but in all minds. This is everybody's thinking. Okay, that's the kickoff. That's the setup for this vow. Look at it. Look at what's ahead of us here. Xiang. Keyword is Xiang. It goes on and on and on, all the way down here. All of these thoughts. Bodhisattvas are going, I want living beings, says our Bodhisattva, to be able to understand 了知 all thoughts. And by this, I'll tell you what I mean by that, he says. Okay? So, may all cultivate Samantabhadra's conduct and vows with a liberated mind, free from attachments and bonds, and having been anointed, the crown of my head being consecrated by the Buddhas, or all of you, I want you to realize the ground of skillful means, the stage of skillful means, in a single thought. Because this has happened. Successfully perfecting the treasury of wisdom that firmly anchors them in myriad practices, may they be capable of knowing each and every thought. That's where we're going to get to next time. That's where we're going to start next time. 就说在这个愿呢，希望众生以无着无负解脱心修习普贤菩萨恒愿。然后呢，很简单的话，得佛观顶，于一念中入方便地，充满安住，众恒至宝。然后因为那个关系了，悉能了知一切诸相。这个观顶哈，那个我们在第十地，我们讲那个十地品的第十地的时候，那个观顶就出现了，很重要。华严经讲了一些对于这个行为，这是一种仪式。不是单单佛教有这个观顶的仪式，天主教也有，这个不是单单中国的宗教也有，就说，埃及古来的埃及也有观顶，还有其他的这个文化就有这种仪式，有的时候用油，有的时候用水，有的时候用酒，就放在头顶上。什么意思呢？为什么这样做呢？表示什么呢？表示受观顶仪式那个人准备上位，准备离开他到现在的一些位置，还有他的资格啊，他的称号什么的，现在准备上增，就会有进步，有给推荐到更高的一个地位，所以那个做四天王位也可以受观顶，就说菩萨到了第十地都会受观顶，得佛观顶，佛来给你观顶，哇，那就表示你现在有这个可以做更大的一个责任，可以你的地位会大，你的名称会高啊。然后那是一个，然后在一念中入方便地，你入方便地，因为受观顶，所以智慧方便现在就流转，你很会教化众生，很多方法。充满安住众恒智宝贝，众恒智，你是一个老师，你会教众生如何修行。然后呢，这个是不思议，悉能了知一切诸相，不但自己的头脑的思想，而且众生的思想，你都可以了知。然后呢，我是什么意思呢？所谓大家想想看 ，Look at 那么多想，就我们下个礼拜回来，从这里开始 ，We will be back here next week to find out what kind of thoughts our Bodhisattva wants us to 了知. Specifically, he's going to be specific in teaching us thoughts. 那么大家喜欢我那个桌上 那个图是谁？善财童子跟海床比丘请法。Okay. Does everybody know the Buddha's holy sites in India? You know what they are? 各位知道印度的佛圣地吗？ Take a look. There's 四圣地，还有八圣地。There are the 4, and then there's the 8. So, make it a little bigger here. There we go. Yep. There we are. Traditional Buddhist holy sites of pilgrimage in India, known as the 8 Great Places, Ashta Mahasthana, are associated with events in the Buddha's life. They're in the Avatamsaka Sutra, and they became pilgrimage sites for Buddhists everywhere. 就说印度呢，传统来讲有8个地方，你如果要到印度佛在世所去的那个圣地呢，这些地方都跟佛的生平里边一些重要的事情都有连带的关系。Mahaparinirvana 那个涅槃经都会讲清楚，以后变成朝圣的地方。有4大 the 4 big ones are Lumbini, that's in Nepal. That's where the Buddha was born. Lady Maya gave birth to the Prince Siddhartha. There is a pond, a pillar, we've seen that. Master Xuanzang just passed through. Bodh Gaya, 这个菩提树那里。This is where the Buddha got enlightened under the Bodhi tree. There's a temple there. Then Sarnath, this is Varanasi, this is Zhuanfalun Lu Ye Yuan. 这个Zhuanfalun. Then Kushinagara, 就是佛入涅槃，这个双洒梭罗树。Okay, this is the twin Tara trees, sal trees. There are 4 more. Sankashya, that's where the Buddha came down from Triastrimsha. Rajgriha, that's the Lotus Sutra place, that's the mountain. Sravasti, that's the summer vacation, that's the summer retreat place, 25 years. And Vaishali, that's where he announced parinirvana. This is where Master Xuanzang is. 玄奘大师就在这里，现在。Okay? 8圣地。There's a parrot outside who wants my attention badly, a large white bird. Okay, wait a minute. I'll be there in a while. Hold on. 渡波罗那斯河，东北行10余里，至鹿野伽蓝，台观连云，长浪四河，僧徒1500人，学小乘正量部。After crossing the Ganges at Varanasi, going towards the northeast, for Tinli, he reached the deer park, with its high terraces and halls connected by long corridors. In the monastery, there were 1,500 monks who studied the teachings of the Samatya school. So he is really in the Buddha's land now. He has reached his destination, almost. 大院内有精舍，高8余尺，石阶专龛，层级100数，皆引其黄金佛像。室中有偷师佛像，2等如来身，坐转法轮状。Inside the main enclosure, a temple more than 100 feet high contained 100 stone steps and brick niches, each with a gilt image of the Buddha in relief. In the shrine hall was a life-size bronze image of the Buddha in the attitude of turning the wheel of the law. I didn't check. Let's see here. Varanasi Deer Park. Let's see if we can find it. Thank you to technology. Here it is. Okay. Sarnath, this is the deer park. There's the Ganges River, Hongha, Varanasi. The deer park is there. See photos. Well, there are the deer. Look at the deer at the deer park. Wow, lots of deer. Unless that's, yes, wow, a lot of deer. Guandoshanlu. Oh, there's a crane. There's an emu. Are we back in Australia? Or crocodiles zoo. Okay, got it. So we're going to go back to the map. Here we are. Now, this is Nalanda. So 玄奘大师经过这里，目的在这儿，很快就到了。Okay. 金舍东南有诗宿主播，无有往所见，高8余尺，前有石柱，高70余尺，是佛处转法轮处。To the southeast of the temple was a stone stupa, more than 100 feet high, built by King Ashoka. In front of the stupa, a stone pillar, more than 70 feet high, marked the place where the Buddha first turned the Dharma wheel. Okay, we just saw that holy place named. Beside it was where Maitreya Bodhisattva received his prediction. 其次有梅达利，汤言此时就业弥勒，菩萨受基础。Okay, so Maitreya got his prediction. He's now going through the 8 phases, the 8 stages of all Buddhas up in the Tushita heaven. Okay, 就说佛转法轮的地方，出转法轮，然后呢，隔壁呢就是弥勒菩萨，在因地受这个级别号，他现在就是八相成道，在斗率脱天，等机缘成熟，他就下来成佛。四西有属度波，是佛悉为护明菩萨，于贤解中，人寿2万岁时，迦摄波佛所受记处，施驾受记难，有过去4佛经行处，长50余步，高7尺，以经石集成，上有4佛经行之像。Further to the west, the stupa marked the place where the Buddha, as the Jyotipala Bodhisattva in a previous birth, received his prediction from Kashyapa Buddha at the time when human life was 20,000 years long, during Bhadra Eon, the worthy Eon. To the south, where Shakyamuni Buddha received his prediction, was the place where 4 past Buddhas walked up and down. It was piled with blue stone, more than 50 paces long, 7 feet high. Upon the terrace were images of the 4 Buddhas in the attitude of walking. Okay, so we're hearing about these incredible sights that Master Xuanzang saw, and we know because his powers, his journalism and his historian ability, his accuracy is unparalleled. In everything else, Master Xuanzang is known to be very precise. So when we hear about these incredible things, relics of the Buddha's life that he is seeing, you just know that that is the case. That's what he saw. And it's how sad that it's gone now. it would be wonderful if these relics of the Buddha's past were still there. But at least we knew that 1,000 years after the Buddha's nirvana, they still were there. Now, another 1,200, 1,400 years after Master Xuanzang passed through, they're gone, but he saw them. So, 就说我们知道玄奘大师他所看到的，他当历史家很准啊，他当一个就说科学家也很准，所以他离佛住世1000年，那我们离玄奘大师住世有1300、1400年。可是呢，的确他看到了我们虽然现在那个这些非常难得的这些佛像啊，还有这个宝塔什么的，虽然看不到了，我们知道他在的时候就有了Okay, so there we go. That's today's story. And we're going to continue next week. Thank you so much, folks, for being here and joining me to look into these incredible, looking back through history and looking forward to the future when we're going to be doing these practices ourselves. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us to expand the measures of our minds and make some goodness for the world. 感恩各位能来跟我一起用90分钟研究这个法界经，就是往后边看然后呢把这个经上的道理往前边盼望，就知道当时将来我们也会跟着华严经的菩萨行菩萨道。Let's dedicate merit using Medicine Buddha's mantra. Here we go. Samyak Sambuddhaya Ayata Om Aisaji Aisaji Aisaja Samukate Swa 再来 Om Namo Bhagavate Aisaja Vajurya Prabharajaya Tathagaya Arahate Samyak Sambuddhaya Ayata Om Asaji Asaji Isaja Samukate Swa 再来一次 Om Namo Bhagavate Aisaja Vajurya Prabharajaya Tathagaya Arahate Samyak Sambuddhaya Ayata Om Aisaji Aisaji Isaya Samukate Swaha. Okay, last thing we're going to do tonight, tell the monks to wait a minute. We're not quite done. They can join us. Here we go. Bow to Guanyin Pusa. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Alrighty, we'll see you all next week. Amitofo. Thanks for joining, everybody. Bye now.
And thank you, Shivashi.
You're welcome.